Okay, we're good to go. Well, just like a typical Monday after digesting some of the tape, plenty to clean up, but no different than I said after the game. Really proud of our team, the way they battled throughout, played for 60 minutes, momentum swings, defensively. Struggled with some things with the Wildcat. They had a few good schemes and plays there. We need to tackle better overall, missed some tackles. But those guys kept battling in the turnover piece they created. The fourth down stop was huge. Offensively, again, ran the ball pretty well. Need to throw it better than we did, and that's 11-man football. Sometimes protection, sometimes quarterback identification, coverage, accuracy, dropped a couple balls. So anyhow, there's always things to clean up. I will say special teams-wise might have been as good as since I've been here type thing. I mean, the way we punted it, field position changes, covered, the one kickoff that they did return. Micaiah Tongue is making the thing physical, tackled him inside the 20. Was really pleased with that. I thought, had a chance on blocking a punt, and then I think that affected their next punt. And when they punted it short. We got great field position on that. So overall, special teams, there was a lot of good stuff there. Really well. Tyjon Lindsey showed up on special teams, the effort he played with. Micaiah Tongue. Obviously, the Luke and Everett making a game winner, so was pleased with all of that. Say it again, I do think the crowd made a difference. It was awesome in regards to the elevation and energy and excitement. I thought it was a great atmosphere, and so then you're back to work. Watching these guys, I think Washington State played really, really well last week against Cal. You see that on tape. Defensively, these guys are solid. Solid scheme, playing fast. I mean, holds Cal. Cal scores on their opening drive, and they don't score again the rest of the game. And Cal had been doing some things offensively, and so that was impressive to see. We know we got a big-time challenge coming this weekend. Questions?
After you watched the video with Chance, what did you see? Was it a combination of receivers not in sync with Chance? Was he just not seeing things? What did you see?
I think a little bit he struggled to catch any type of rhythm. He missed a couple of early throws. We were running the ball a lot, so it didn't totally allow him to get into rhythm in the passing game. Credit to UW, changed their looks up. They dropped a decent amount of 8 in coverage, then rushed 3, which is tough to throw against. And so that's just kind of how the night went. I do think that in the fourth quarter when we needed to answer, the guy makes a big-time throw to Anthony Gould, and you're going to have a few nights like that. I mean, we're running the ball with success. We're not trying to win the stat deal. We're trying to win the game, and we never really needed the rhythm in the passing game.
Obviously, you played quarterback, and I'm sure you had a few weeks like that during your career.
Yeah, off night, yeah, absolutely.
What was the next week like? Coming off that, did you watch more film? What did you?
I think some of that you have an off night. You get back to your fundamentals and what got you to the point of playing at a high level, and so you do that, and so you go back to Tuesday, Wednesday, getting your feet right, your ball placement, your fundamentals of playing the position, and I think that's for all spots, not just the quarterback. Because we even talked about it yesterday as a team of finding ways to improve, and it goes back to your fundamentals and tackling. Our hand placement in both the secondary and O-line was better this week, and you saw that on the penalty end because we went back to basics.
How do you get the tight ends going on the passing?
I know that's always the question. I do think they're good catchers of the ball and things, but the idea to get them going, they are going in the run game. I mean, you see what we're getting done. O-line deserves a lot of credit for the way they're playing, but I'm telling you, these tight ends in the run game are going. They're impacting the game huge. And we had an off night throwing it in all aspects, but and we got confidence in those guys, but we're not in the panic mode that all of a sudden they're not catching a bunch of balls because of the way they're playing in the run game.
I mean, I get that they're really playing well in the run game, but your receivers are they're a little on the shorter side, and you've got these 2 6'6" guys that you can target out there.
There's a catching radius, and we try to target Luke on the one, and again, each week's different. Teagan had the huge touchdown to open us up against SC. The way we're distributing the ball, we don't have one guy that's catching a bunch. Look, we're confident in them, we're not panicking that they're not catching it a bunch.
Think something like Saturday could do for Everett's confidence moving forward this season, as far as putting himself in those kind of situations?
Yeah, hopefully it's another step in his confidence because the guy's been playing well. I know he missed the one, but the way he's kicking off, we got a bunch of confidence. He had a big kick against SC that was way longer than the game winner. And I think it's just for our team. Anytime, you got enough confidence in a guy that the game's on the line. The whole strategy the last 2 minutes was because we had confidence in Everett making a kick. I think that says something to Everett.
And you think about the last 2 weeks, beating SC, beating Washington. Of course, those are some of the bigger brands in the conference. And you also think about when the growing pains you had when you first took over the program. What do you think these last 2 wins, obviously a long way to go, but what do these last 2 wins you think they could do for the belief of the guys and the program's growth moving forward?
Yeah, I think it adds to the belief. I think this was a confident group going into the season. I think we're a confident group that understands how hard it is to win. And our first 2 conference games, we've been able to find a way to win, but we're very mature and experienced enough to know we got a long ways to go. And each win only sets you up for bigger games as the season goes.
Maybe hindsight, maybe trying to predict, but how big was Luke's 62-yarder for the way it all set up? Does all of that happen if he doesn't get it down there?
Yeah, he flips the field on that play, and he's getting pressured. We didn't block that totally the way we wanted, the protection for him. And he's been hitting it great, and not just the length of it, but the direction of where he's placing the ball, the timing of he's getting it out. If he's not getting rushed, he's holding the ball a little bit longer so our coverage can get down there. The guy's played well really each week. And it's been nice that he hasn't been overly used, right? You're not trying to punt 8-10 times just because you got a good punter. And so when he's asked to execute, he's done it.
On the run, the run that Fenwick had on that last drive that he fell, did he fall intentionally or did he get tripped?
Well, you might ask him. I didn't totally ask him, but we definitely wanted to go down before the goal line on that particular play. You saw how they were starting to play it. As we got into really high percentage field goal range, the strategy is leave it down to more or less an extra point to win the game. So you ask him if he's intentionally going down. I'm not certain after watching it if he was intentionally going down.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either. I watched a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
In regard to Jack Coletto, do you recall when the genesis of the Wildcat with him started? I know he started at Colorado, and then he ran it some after that a little bit. Do you remember when it came to you guys that this is something,
Right.
this is something we ought to try?
I don't remember a particular moment. I know we have a ton of confidence in his football intelligence because he did play quarterback, transitions to linebacker, always been great on special teams, like the understanding of the game he's got. And it's not simple to be the Wildcat quarterback. You still got to be able to go through snap count, timeout motion, really even call the play sometimes in the huddle. And so he's got that savvy, and we felt like we could grow that package and not only just leave him as the Wildcat quarterback. That guy's contributing, playing some H-back, fullback now, and hopefully it could just continues to expand.
I don't recall if you recruited him or you just signed him in that class, but did you see that sort of?
Well, we recruited him to play quarterback.
Right,
and
right. No, I know he came as a quarterback, but I don't remember if you recruited him or he was our. I can't.
Yeah, we signed him. It was the first year.
Did you see that on video before you'd signed him that he had that ability to kind of be a Tim Tebow type?
Yeah, well, yeah, because he wasn't shy. He ran it. He was pretty athletic. Threw it solid. But he's just such a competitor, and you saw it on his high school tape, the way he would run and make it physical.
Coach, Nick was asking about Chance's game. Just what does it say about where this team is at, where this program's at, that he can have, that the passing game can have a game like that where not a lot of yards and you still come out with a big win over a good team?
Yeah, I think it says a lot, defensively, that, we hold them. We gave them 7 points. We fumbled the ball on the 5, and they punch it in. And we win the game 27-24. You think about the defensive effort, point total, 17 really points. turnovers they created, fourth down stop, and I go back to the special teams of field position because we started some drives on their side of the 50. So yeah, I think it's we can win a game with not one side of the ball or one aspect of that side in the passing game, as this example. We can still win a game.
Last week I asked you about kind of shedding the underdog persona, and I don't, maybe you winced a little bit when I asked you that. Moving forward now, there's a target on your back. I mean, you are at the top of the Pac-12 North, and teams are hunting you. How does that approach work? How, is that a conversation you have with the team?
Yeah, I said this to the team. I'm not that concerned that our team's going to become overconfident. This group understands that it's hard to win. You got to prepare well to win. And I just think you go back to this league of, anybody beating anybody and, hunted, all of that. It comes down to 60 minutes on a Saturday. You prepare as best you can and know that it's going to be a fight for 60 minutes.
Do you feel like your players and staff have been motivated by the struggles from these past couple seasons, and has that been a factor these last few weeks?
I think our guys are motivated, that they work really hard. They want to find some success. And so hopefully they're enjoying these wins the night after, and each guy's individual on what gets them truly motivated to go. And tough losses the last year or two, if that's helped them, I'm good with it.
How are you feeling about the defensive production as a whole from where it was at the season opener to this point?
I think we've played well enough to help us win some games. I do think that the line of scrimmage has been better this year, and that's allowed our linebackers like Avery Roberts to have the production he is because we're doing some things at the line of scrimmage, keeping him free. Each week on defense, though, there's always things that got to get better. Because, defense, you can play 65 great snaps, but if there's another 6 or 7 that aren't very good, that means points. And I go back to our ability to tackle needs to improve if we're going to try to have the type of games and win games we want.
Looking at Washington State, Jaden DeLaura obviously caused some problems for you last year in the season opener. Now that he's fully healthy again, what do you have to do to stop him this time around? Yeah,
he looked good against Cal because he's accurate. He runs that system really, really well. Can move his feet and extend the play, pick up first downs. They look sharp. And this isn't just all pass. They're running the ball. They got a couple good backs, not just Borgie. The other guy's playing really well. And so this thing's, just watching that tape from this last weekend, this is a good football team.
You've coached against Coach Rolovich now for a couple of years in a row and been against that run and shoot offense. What kind of challenges does that scheme in particular present? Because it's something that, you don't see a ton of at the college football level.
The space that's created by the formations, the quarterback doesn't hold the ball all that much. You got to tackle well in space. It forces a lot of one-on-one tackles. You try to change up the looks, and then they're going to run the ball some. The draw scheme they got going, they got a counter scheme pulling with the tackle. You got to play the run as well. And so all of that makes it difficult to defend. Creating the space like that, quarterback's getting the ball out, and they got a nice run game. It's tough.
We ain't done yet. That's taking on a life. That's starting to take on some life. Did you think of that when you were walking up the tunnel? Did it just come to you in the locker room? Do you recall where that came from?
Yeah, I think I thought of it as we were walking up the tunnel at SC of this is big win and this and that. And I know a lot of attention was going to go off of 60 years type thing. But I just wanted to kind of quickly flip, celebrate a win, but we got way more to us. I think it might have been talking with the athletic director on the way up from the tunnel.
When you go through a season like this, is some sort of mantra like that sort of important just to sort of, galvanize the team? Is it just something fun that?
Yeah, I think it's just a life of its own. I think it has some truth to it, though, of this mantra that we do. We got more to us. There's more ahead. Each week, we know we're trying to continue to win games. And, there's more than, we've played 2 conference games. We've got 7 more.
How do you feel like the team has embraced that?
Yeah, we don't talk about it much. I think we talk about it in the locker room after games, and then it's not like we sit there and go through the week saying the same thing.
Coach, what are you facing against Washington State's defense. They look pretty good.
Yeah, disguise is tough. They change up the looks, play sound football, multiple coverages that they pre-snap make look the same. Yeah, I don't see a glaring weakness or whatnot. These guys have played sound. And again, I go back to just how well they've been playing recently, going off that last tape, because Cal was moving the ball. And for them to play that well, we've got a challenge.
Are they big and physical up front, or is it more of a speed thing?
I think they're more physical than maybe a few years previous to that. They were the speed D thing. No, they can make it physical at the line.
It looks like the message was received on the penalties. Hardly had any Saturday after getting 14 against SC.
Yeah, like I said, go back to the fundamentals and basics. Who was happy with that?
Hodgins not this week. After the bye week, is it?
Potentially healing. Again, he has not practiced,
Okay,
so we're still a ways.
We see him out there, but it's,
Yeah,
you don't know at this point then. Okay.
no.
Coach, to have Anthony Gould on back-to-back plays essentially impact the game the way that he did, seemingly not much involved, it didn't seem like up to that point. So, I mean, how big is that to have that kind of depth and contributions like that from that group?
Yeah, it was obviously a big point in the game. I think it sends a continued message to our team of, guys, when you're called upon, you need to be ready, and we've been that. We've got depth at a position, everybody contributing in wins. Because, again, it can get frustrating for a guy who's played pretty well to not play a ton, because we got some other guys at that position playing well. But he was ready, and he came in, and he started with the fly sweep run and gets more than maybe it's blocked for, and then comes up huge on that, I think it was 2nd and long.
Whether it's good or bad, whether team's losing and there's a lot of chatter, everybody's mad, or team's winning and everybody wants to get ahead of themselves and say Rose Bowl. As a staff and as personally, how do you tune it out? Do you tell your family, I don't want to hear anything about Twitter? How does that work for you?
Yeah. Again, this idea of the focus is just the one game we're preparing for. And again, you want people excited, you want people engaged and talking about it and things about your program and how it's going. But internally, we stay locked into tomorrow's practice.
So you just roll your eyes when a crazy brother-in-law says Rose Bowl, baby?
Yeah, and don't want to talk about, or I spin it and talk about how quickly things can change. Yeah. Thanks.